having our first of two panel discussions for day one, titled The Big Move, How to Turn Crisis into Opportunities. The COVID-19 pandemic has fueled a global wave of economic uncertainty. Many businesses, both local and abroad, are facing unprecedented challenges to stay afloat and are doing whatever they can to survive. Albert Einstein once said that in the midst of every crisis lies an opportunity. This quote holds especially true for our upcoming panelists of entrepreneurs in the social media, food, and MySpace. They have done the seemingly impossible by harnessing innovation to handle the disruption, successfully turning this crisis into one of their greatest opportunities. Today, we'll be hearing from them. Let's welcome Ms. Genevieve Lee, co-founder of Sourbombe Artisanal Bakery, Mr. Ken Teo, founder and CEO of Invade, Mr. Lawrence Chua, Head of Business Operations and University, International Markets for Lark, ByteDance, who are our panelists, and Mr. Choong, co-founder of One Good Team, as moderator. Speakers, please.
Hello and good afternoon to everyone. This is InnoPoly 2021 and this is the first panel discussion of the day. And we are live here in Ngee Ann Polytechnic campus. And I'm super excited to be here with three esteemed speakers. And we are very excited to present on the first topic of the day, the big move, how to turn crisis into opportunities. And sorry, I'm the moderator and my name is Chao and I'm the co-founder of One Good Team. And you probably heard of our pilot product to the market, One Good Card. One Good Card is a smart name card. It's a powerful personal branding tool that is safe, seamless, and sustainable. It is the new way forward for digital networking. Okay, enough of myself. Let us go one round as to who are our speakers for the day and what has been keeping them busy. So,
okay. Thank you so much. My name is Lawrence. I run the business operations and university for Lark, which is a business division under ByteDance. So I've been in this role for the last 2.5 years, and cumulatively I have 17 years of experience in the software world. I've been busy as well, investing in startups, as well as mentoring and helping some of them. Yeah. Over to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jen. So I guess I'm more known as like MasterChef Jen. So that's what I've been doing, going onto my food journey, going into a university that concentrates on food business, CIA, and recently the co-founder of Sourbombe Artisanal Bakery, which is like my latest venture after graduating from university. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Kent, founder of Invade. So for the past 10 years, we have been activating spaces, organizing festivals. So we previously organized an Artbox Singapore, as well as Shilling Night Market. So recently, we have launched our creative food hall, Eatbox, as well as our instant noodle playground, Slurping Good. Thank you.
So thank you to our speakers for the wonderful introduction. Let's start off with our first speaker, Lawrence. Lawrence, you mentioned that during the pandemic, we have come up with Lark. So perhaps you can share with our audience what is Lark about.
Yep, thank you so much. So Lark is a next generation collaboration software developed with all of the functions such as video, chat, together documentation, all rolled into one. Now this is actually very important during the pandemic because all of us have to work remotely, right? Whether we're working or whether we're studying, we have to do it at the comfort or for some it's actually pretty stressful in your own homes. Now what you really want to do is to have all of this information put together at one single place. So Lark actually does all of it. So without you needing to go to multiple applications or try to find where the information is, you can just use one single application and do all of your work on it. So that's the beauty of it. As we found Lark and as we launched it during the pandemic, we saw a huge uptake during this period because everyone is being mindful about wanting to spend more time focusing on the work and not to be distracted. So if you think about it, there are a few areas that this app actually addresses. First and foremost, around mindfulness, because when you put all of your work at one single app, right, you can choose when to turn on and when to turn off. Now, mental health issues is actually something very important at this present moment, right? Not just for adults as well as for students, right? You find that you're always inundated with so much work, right? And you find it hard to keep focus. Your phones are ringing, it's like work comes in from WhatsApp, right? From all the different apps that you have on the phone. So what this app does is that it actually consolidates everything into one space. So when you need to do deep work and not to be distracted, you can just mute, and then you can just focus on the work on hand. and it also allows you to, find information wherever you need it. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell, it's like what we do.
Oh, thank you for the summary, Lawrence.
Thank you so much.
I think that is a brilliant message on what Lark is doing. And perhaps to provide a little bit more context for our audience out there, we know that the pandemic has created quite a big impact on the real working world right now.
Yes.
So how has it changed right now in the working force?
Yeah, how is it done? You can actually see that a lot of work is actually moved to the remote side of things. That is one of the biggest shifts. So the lack of, it's like face-to-face interaction has become one of the challenges. So I think what is really important is also around the area of community building. When you're working remotely, right, you can be as disconnected as you want, or you can actually find ways for you to reach out to your fellow colleagues so that you do not miss out on the element, right, of a connection. I think work is not just done in silo, but it's actually done, it's like as a community together. The different things like encouragement, it's like affirmation, right? All this can actually be easily taken off from work right now that is actually done remotely. So this is something that's really important, right, to all of us. And if you think about it, that there is this big talk right now about, it's like the great resignation. Why are people leaving work? It's like at this present moment, it could be that they don't feel connected, right? It could be that they don't feel appreciated. Because all this, right, water cooler chats, as well as connection we do face-to-face, they're all taken away. So if there is one very important thing I'd like to encourage all of us to do, right, is to be mindful of this and to be deliberate in showing affirmation, right, be connected so that, you do not lose out during this pandemic when it comes to work.
Oh, thank you, Lawrence. I think that is a wonderful sharing, and I hope the audience have taken quite a good amount of knowledge from what Lawrence has said. So let's move on to Genevieve. Genevieve yourself, you're actually a NIA alumni too.
Yes.
And not only is Genevieve an amazing businesswoman, but she's also an amazing cook as well, being a finalist of the inaugural Singapore MasterChef in 2018. Let's share with the audience on how you did that.
I think I centered my business around my passion. So I would say that I realized I wanted to get into F&B since I was about 16 years old, which is pretty young, I would say, to know exactly what you wanted to do. And I was very lucky to have that because of the people around me. Like, they were very motivational in terms of like going after what I wanted, not looking at like the monetary side of things. Is business profitable? Now F&B is like, it's really hard. I have a lot of friends in the industry who is like suffering a lot from the pandemic. And in anybody's right mind, they wouldn't go into this industry. But because I always had the thought of opening my own business since that age, I first started with Be Your Own Boss, which was when I was a NIA student here. I started off with just like having some fun. They had this competition. I was like, hey, why not? Like just give it a go. You never know what will happen. And for me, it's more like fun with my friend. Like I just gathered like 2 other guys and I'm like, hey, let's just do this together. Take a break from like all the exams and papers and all those kind of stuff. And just do something that we like, which is cooking and eating. So the 2 guys more eating than cooking. But no worries, they were pretty good at the other aspect, of the business, helping me with the accounts, helping me with like scheduling and everything, which actually, if you think about it, being a business owner is not just about selling a product. It's not just about having a team or managing a team. It's about managing people from everywhere. They can hit you at spots that you don't even know that can happen. So like you have to answer to like MOM, for example, government sources, answer to the public, who are purchasing your stuff, answer to your own people, who are actually the most integral part of the business. And I actually agree with you when you said that you have to connect with the people who are working with you. If not, they would feel like, what am I doing this for? I work hard every day, I slog hard every day. Then what is it for? Is it just for you or is it for everyone, So that is very, very important. but I kind of digress. And so I would just like to say, like, I followed my dream, and no matter what was thrown at me, right, even if it was negative, it was positive, I always try to see the silver lining of everything. Like, even if I fail in my business, I would think, hey, at least I tried.
Yeah.
And as long as you try, you would learn like thousands of things that you would never have if you never tried. So if you ask me what would I regret if I die tomorrow, for example, just saying, I would say I would regret the things that I thought of doing and didn't take the step to, just because I wasn't brave enough, or I had self-doubt, or I was too scared to do it. So I think fear is like the most hindering thing ever. So try to push through that barrier and just do whatever you want to do. Like, if you want to be a musician, go on YouTube, go and sing a song, like, get yourself out there. If you want to do, like, I don't know, nails business, it's not that conventional. People won't think that, oh, if you do nails, can you, like, earn a lot of money? But my friend actually, like, she loved doing nails, she hates studying, but she went on and do it, and she met so many amazing customers, and slowly, like, her portfolio grew. And she enjoyed it all the time. She can spend hours doing her work, and the pay is not that great, but is she happy? Yes, she is. Yeah. So isn't that the most important thing, in the end, that you are happy doing what you're doing? So, yeah, that's all.
So I think Genevieve brought up a really, really great point that I believe that all entrepreneurs, all of us would agree, is that you regret the chances that you didn't take. And especially when you're younger and opportunity cost is not really there as much, it's the best time to just do what you want to do, and you will regret at a later age if you do not do. And all of us here, every entrepreneur in the world, will encourage every aspiring entrepreneur to do what they believe in. So great point, Genevieve. So I think one question that all of us here will be very curious with is that one thing that we observed was that in the pandemic, we saw, during the lockdown in particular, there was a massive spike. There was a boom in the amount of online home-based businesses.
Correct.
So we saw many people take the shift from physical, offline, to online
Correct.
businesses. So, but Sourbombe Artisanal Bakery took the other approach instead. So you guys were very well established as an online business, and you moved towards physical. So what would you say was the driving factor that led to that?
I think the key factor here is that, as you said, we were an online business. So just coming out, actually, I haven't graduated when I started Sourbombe. So I was doing like my finals, I was looking for internship places. And truth to be told, I was very disappointed, of course, like everyone else, when the pandemic happens, because I was supposed to be slated to go to America, to follow my dream, to have more experiences in New York City. But because of the pandemic, everybody was locked down. So I was very clueless, actually, for a good half a year. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going through the motions. I was just trying to complete uni, going for internship locally, which, even though it was a great place to work at, I didn't feel the same kind of excitement that I would have felt if I was like, oh, I'm going to New York, I mean, who wouldn't be excited, right? So during that time, I kept scratching my head. I was like, what should I do to make my time worthwhile? What should I do to make myself feel fulfilled in life? So of course, like, there's the big bakery boom kind of for e-commerce, and I kind of like tagged onto that train as well. It happened out of nowhere. I was just baking for friends. I was very bored. I miss all my friends. So I bake and then I send it out to all my friends and say, hi, I enjoyed this. I hope you're doing well. And one of them is my business partner, CR. He is a really great photographer. He's in the media industry. And he called me and he was like, hey, you want to do business? I was like, why not? What else is there to do? Let's just do it, right? So we just started out, online, playing it very safe. Our original Capex is like maybe 20K, which is still affordable at my level. And I was like, okay, let's just do it. But it was also all in for me because, as a uni grad, you're not very, you're really tight on money also. But you know what, I just went all in and it just boomed on the internet. And I didn't even expect that. I remember I only bought like one stove and a few trays, and then the orders start coming in and you're like, oh, this is not enough, and then you start going to like Xiahua and buying all the big equipments buying the big mixers and everything. So from there, I actually did this for 1 year, knowing full well that I could have shifted to a retail store and my life could be easier because I could hire, I could have more help. I don't have to do this all by myself. I don't have to smell donuts in my house 24/7, which is not a good smell actually if you think about it. Imagine you're sleeping right there, like, donuts. Yeah, so I could have at the 3-month mark, at the 6-month mark, or even near to a year. But I just held back. I was being very cautious because I know how tough it is to have a retail store. The ball game is so different. Your capex is infinitely more. The amount of things you go through, the stress you go through is like crazy. But I needed to make sure that I was ready for it. And so it took me 1 year. And it took a lot of planning, a lot of reconsiderations on location, on the team, on the menu even. So I would say, yes, go for your passion, but also be very smart about it. Don't rush into things. Ensure that you set yourself up for success first. Understand what's your customer base. Understand who is the people buying your stuff. Is it your friends or strangers? If you see 90% of it is bought by your family and friends, then I would be more reserved, about my numbers, But if 90% is from the public, people who don't know you, don't need to give you any kind of affirmation, don't have to be nice to you most of the time, then yeah, just do it, because it is a booming percentage, to have so many people supporting you with no clue who you are, with no kind of connection to you. And that's when oh yeah, this is a business I can go into. So that's how I felt, at 1 year. I was like, yeah, we are ready. We found a very nice location. And also courtesy of my friend, because my friend's relative family owns the building. And they were like, we can give you a good rate. And all these things, they add up. And in the end, you'll find it to help you in the long run, You are less burdened by rent, less burdened by management. And then you can focus on what you are really doing, what you're really selling. And yeah, that's very important as well. Yeah. So yeah, don't rush into things. Consider your factors. Be very sure that this is what you're gonna do and you're not gonna hate yourself for doing it. Then go for it. Yeah.
Fantastic advice by Genevieve. But you did not tell audience one last thing.
Yes.
Where's Sourbombe Artisanal Bakery at?
Oh, is it? Okay, so when I look for the location, right, it's near Plaza Sing, but not exactly at Plaza Sing because, of course, the rent is worlds apart if I were to be at Plaza Sing. I'm just the next door neighbor, so it's a building away. I'm also at level 2, not level 1, which a lot of people will question me because they were like, why don't you want a nice frontage? Why would you want to be on level 2? Well, let me tell you, okay? It's cost efficient. Secondly, we are mostly online business, so I'm very focused on my e-commerce presence as well. Thirdly, we are aware that there might be queues. So on the second level, you're sheltered from the sunlight, the rain, anything. So for customers, it's a good thing. Yeah. For my suppliers as well, there's a drop-off location just right on level 2. So all this kind of thing, if you think about logistically, your people, the people you're selling to, you must think of all these kind of factors, and then be on level 2. I mean, a lot of people ask me that, why do I want to not be on level 1? It's because it's just not sheltered, and it's too expensive. And yeah, so you can find us at 9 Penang Road, 0203. We are always there. We are open like Tuesday to Saturday. Very good hours because the team gets a break. And of course, we sell out pretty quickly in a day. We close at about 3 p.m. But the bakers are there from 6 to 6. So we really slog it out. Yeah, and of course, the best way to get our products is just online. So you can go onto our website as well, and you can do a pre-order, and then it will come to your doorstep, or like you can self-pick up. Yeah. So I guess we just get a lot of disappointed customers mostly. So I just tell them, just go online. Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Yes, so you heard Genevieve. Just do a simple Google search and you have all the information you need.
That's very true.
So thank you for that, Genevieve.
Thank you.
Let's have Kent do his sharing. So Kent, I'll give you a short introduction. He's the founder and CEO of Invade.co, and he manages multiple entities under them. They have Fleaware, Mox, Invade.co, and of course, the famous Artbox Singapore as well. Kent, please share with us your magic secret sauce on how you do all this.
I guess it's from one simple idea, right? The idea of trying to bring all these micro businesses and emerging brands into different spaces, right? Because at the same time, we know that getting a space can be quite costly, right? It's always three things, right? CapEx, manpower, and then your rental, right? So these are some of the things that you have to take note. So I think it's one simple idea of like, I just want to bring about these micro businesses. So we started organizing flea markets 10 years ago, right? So that's where I first started 10 years ago, organizing fleas at Scape, so on and so forth. Then our breakthrough comes about when we organized Artbox Singapore, the container market at Marina Bay. So that's where we saw that we are doing something meaningful. There's 200 over pop-up stores at Marina Bay across the 6 days with 500,000 visitors. So from that is that we know that we are trying to bring about some change to the retail and F&B industry, where we have like many different landlords coming to us as well. So that is where during that period we are at our peak. We are gaining momentum, going to different places like Artbox Malaysia, Artbox Hong Kong, so on and so forth. And that is where the COVID-19 hits, right? So that is where we have to scale back our plans and relook at our strategy to where can we go after, right? Because festivals and events can't really be organized during this whole situation. So identifying the same stakeholders that we have, right? So 10 years on, we have about 10,000 emerging brands and micro businesses in our database, right? Then we have all the landlords in our database as well. So it's like, how can we connect these two together without through the idea of like festival events? So then that is where we develop our platform, Invade.co, where we manage commercial real estate spaces on our platform to enable our businesses to continue to pop up, right, at the various retail space, F&B kiosks, so on and so forth. Right? And of course, our major milestone is where we launch the permanent version of Artbox. So we call it Eatbox. So there's about 20 over kiosks at Tekka Place right now, where it's all new to market brands. All the brands don't have to sign long-term lease at 3 plus 3 years, for example. They can start off with just 6 months or 12 months basis to pop up and try. Right, so the whole idea of like pop-up is to try, reach out to your database, collect feedback, know who's your customers and so on and so forth. And then the idea of like when you pick up certain traction, that is where you can continue to expand and look at other spots. So I guess this is somewhat a more palatable solution during this whole pandemic, right? So I think that's what we kind of like make this crisis into an opportunity for us. Yeah.
That is a very good sharing. And one thing that I'm very curious about is that because we all know that, all of us, we all been to Artbox before. Artbox is so special, it's highly Instagrammable, and they have so many different pop-up stores. And what elements of it has been infused in the Eatbox, like in terms of unique experiences that our audience here can expect when they go over?
Okay, so I think from there is where we kind of like adopt, right? So it doesn't mean festival equals to something permanent, right? The festival is somewhat like a temporary ad hoc basis. So we pick out all the different elements from Artbox Singapore into a permanent installation. So we have like 9 different art installations where we commission our local artists to design the space for us. And then all the different F&B entrepreneurs, right, they do to pop up at Eatbox. It's all new to market. So it's not as though they have like seasoned players popping up everywhere already. It's all new to market. That's what I want to do, to enable all these brands to be able to pop up, right? Then the long-term game of like having a permanent space is a 3+3 years space at Tekka Place. That's where we continue to find different kind of programming. So recently we did like Lazada Live. So they do like a mukbang series at Eatbox. So you get to see them eating all the different food at Eatbox, and then you can actually purchase the deal and then redeem it offline. So it's something like we bring online kind of like audiences to our offline kind of space. So that's one. Second, we also did a mini Shark Tank series of F&B. Right, so we have like 3 F&B entrepreneurs to pitch to some of the judges, including myself, and say that, hey, they have certain ideas that is quite cool, then they need the space, they need the funds, and that is where we want to enable them beyond. So it's not just a space that we are trying to accelerate them. We also try to look at their manpower need, whether they need extra funding, or if equipments, right, other than self, what are the other places that you can go, right? So these are some of the things that we want to provide them, beyond just the space, beyond just being seen as a landlord to a micro business, right? So we want to enable them further. Yeah.
So actually, on that point, if our audience out there, they are looking to start their own F&B business, and they want to be with Eatbox, for example, what can they do? How can they start?
I mean, just go invade.co. All our spaces are there. Right, so we manage about 65,000 square feet of commercial space. So there's plenty of pop-up opportunity. I think every month we have about 300 to 400 pop-up opportunities every month. And then we get about a take-up of about 50% right now. Right, I think there's a strong interest during this whole period. More and more home-based businesses are coming out. I think I see it's a cycle, right? While the traditional businesses are trying to find their way out to pivot, but we also have a new wave of F&B businesses, retail businesses entering the market as well. Yeah.
And there's still one more question, and I believe this question is lingering off everyone's top of their mind right now. When will Artbox come back?
We are discussing, talking to several venue partners. We are trying to look at next year, Q3, Q3, where it can be by the beach or somewhat indoor. So we are looking at all the different possibilities, because I guess through this whole pandemic, right, we want to look at how we can translate a 100,000 visitors into somewhat a more manageable crowd, gated in a safe environment. I think these are all very, very important, right? To be able to allow people to enjoy the experience in a safe and responsible manner as well. So I think that's why we are talking to many different authorities to see how we can figure out what's the new format for events. I think that's very important, because everybody is like kind of like suffocating at home and don't know what to do already. So we are trying to see how we can then pivot and define a new way of festival, moving forward.
Thank you, Ken, for the sharing. And right now we'll move into the segment where we'll take on live questions from our audiences. And I'm sure everyone is very eager to ask many questions, because as I'm seeing here, there are many questions being asked. So I'll start with the very first question. Anyone, please feel free to hop in to answer. What is the mindset that we should adopt when jumping into entrepreneurship? Maybe just three particular attitudes that we have. And I believe we covered a lot of grounds on this. So maybe just 3 key mindset that every entrepreneur should have. Genevieve, please.
The first word that popped in my mind is perseverance. Because you've got to have a lot of that when you're starting a business. When you're starting anything, actually. Because there's going to be a lot of things that is going to tell you no. It's going to tell you, don't be dumb, don't do this, And there's a lot of pushback. So if you persevere on and you just keep pushing forward to all those negative things, then you can see the result, like after a while. Because everything takes time, right? You don't just go into something and just, I got it, I've succeeded, Because that's just not life. And so that's my point, perseverance.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, it's like you must give an idea and a project enough time and persevere, and take in all the data points.
Correct.
So look at, it's like what you're trying to accomplish and what are the goals that you set up. And if, along the way you find that there is actually a better way of doing things, or maybe perhaps even if there is a better thing to do, right, then validate that again,
Yes.
right, because there is no stigma in pivoting, right, but I totally agree that, you must let endurance and perseverance run its course. Otherwise, you'll never be able to learn anything. So, that's my sharing.
Yeah, I think totally agree with both of you. I think you're deemed crazy until you're successful, right? so perseverance is of course the number one, right? And then I'll say that number two is humility, right? You really need to be humble and be the ability to kind of like approach your different stakeholders with the right mindset and the right attitude. Then last but not least is the team. Right? Without the team behind you, right? Some can be your defenders, some can be your attackers. You really need that team to have the team effort, team building, to grow together, to have everybody's buy-in, right? Say, hey, let's organize the next Artbox, right? So let's see what we can achieve from everybody's expertise, and then move together. Because if you do it alone, it's going to be insane and almost impossible. So having the right team is very, very important as well.
So I hope you guys have taken away some of the key values that every entrepreneur should have. Of course, there are a lot of other values that we did not cover as well. But thank you for providing the 2 cents in terms of the knowledge that you guys can take away with. So there's one very interesting question that is directed at Lawrence. So Lawrence, could you help answer this? Do you see ByteDance's TikTok as a good way for entrepreneurs to leverage on?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the platform that is reaching out and engaging. It's like different segments of people. And if you have anything to showcase, it's like your talents or your business or any opportunity. I think that is actually the best way to outreach at this present moment. It has an algorithm that it's like would help, and it's like entrepreneurs to be successful. So definitely, it's like reach out to our TikTok folks in Singapore. Yeah, we have a huge team. They'll all be very willing and happy to speak to you. Yeah.
Just to add on that I 100% agree with Lawrence. For my team, in One Good Team, we actually use TikTok as well to leverage. It's a very powerful marketing tool that I'll recommend for every business out there. And of course, we went viral twice. And if you want to see it, go on to @OneGoodCard on TikTok. So
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for calling this. Okay. We have another interesting question that you guys can answer as well. How would you define a good business?
I think it's all about creating real value to the world, right? Having some form of impact. Identify the community that you're trying to build for, advocate for them, then be very, very open-minded to collaboration, right? And be original in your product. And then once you have all these, the right ingredient, right, and you put together, right, you can't be too far wrong. You can't be too far. Can't be too far from being right, into creating the right business for your passion, right? To be able to create the value for your stakeholders. I think that's important. Yeah.
I guess a good business is not just profitable; it's ethical as well. I guess also to add from what you said just now is to have empathy, to understand everyone, your team, understand your customers, where are they coming from. And once you have gotten people's heart, I feel, then your business will run longer. Yeah. If you're only there to just get that first transaction in, there's no point. Yeah. Because you'll just fizzle out sooner or later. Yeah. Which is what I learned a lot in F&B as well. Yeah. To always be kind, to always understand it from another person's point of view. Yeah.
I think for me, when I look at businesses, those that are invested in and those that I'm mentoring, I look at the founders, right? And they are always very passionate. They truly believe in what they are going to accomplish. So this can be very evidently seen in the founders over here. So that is one very important point. And then, it's like nowadays, there are a lot of businesses that focus on, the ethics, that focuses on sustainability. And I find that the founders who talk about it, it resonates very deeply in them, right? Because they're out to change the world. So it could be that, it's like you're baking, but you're passionate about it, and then you put in ethical, it's like sourcing, right? And you know that that's going to make an impact, right? So I think I was actually having a chat earlier, right, with Ken around sustainability. And I think, it's like this is one thing that we cannot ignore, and one thing that we definitely have to put in our business plans, right? How to make the world better, right? Doing the things that we're doing right now. And as you have heard from Genevieve, it's like, and Ken, right? This is something that all of us can actually do to build a good business. Yeah.
So there's one interesting phrase that keeps popping out that we keep hearing about is the team. And I 100% agree. Company is literally called one good team. Yes. And I will agree that the team is at the essence of every successful startup.
Absolutely.
So perhaps we could share with everyone here, what are some ways that we can find the right team? The first founding team or the team to build the business. What are some ways that we can find that, or to manage that, to ensure that it's the right team?
Okay, let me start. It's very new to me to have a team, because I've always done a lot of things by myself. Even like with the home business, I've done it with myself, my family, and that's it. Because we couldn't hire, right? So going into our first retail, I was actually really, really excited about meeting people like-minded who wants to work to the same cause. So as much as it's very nice to, find people who like speaks the same language, who understands you and everything, but sometimes your team can't be your friends as well. And you must set like a certain standard, to understand what does the business need first, and then looking at if the team can gel well together. So for every person that comes through Sourbombe, I always make sure that they'll have a trial day, and the trial day is always to ensure that they are competent, because we are this is a very skilled business. It's not just, press this, press that, and then boom, donut. It takes quite a lot of like experience, takes quite a lot of like learning to actually create that product. So number one is like competency, of course. Then number two is attitude. That is very, very important. If they come in with a mindset to do their best, to really grind, to really work together as a team, or are they like someone who is a lone wolf? Like you can be really good at what you're doing, but if you don't communicate, then that's it. Yeah, that's the end of it. Or if like you communicate too much and you're always asking like questions and very clueless about everything, then that's also not good, right? And then there's also like, as cliche as it sounds, the vibe. like how everyone has like a vibe when it comes in, they have a vibe when they're talking to the team. I always make sure to ask all my original members what they think about this newcomer, if they feel like, they are like suitable, So asking, other people's opinion is very, very important, because like you said, it's a team effort. Yeah. And your founding team is really, really important.
100% agree with what Genevieve has said. And just to add on a little bit is that there are many helpful resources out there right now. A simple Google search, you see a tons of resources. And not to mention, in the sandbox, they have a beautiful incubation area as well. So many mentors and advisors here, they can provide all the guidance that you need. So you don't have to look elsewhere. Right here, back in Ngee Ann Poly or any other institute of higher learning, you will see that there are many resources out there. So do keep a lookout and help yourself out. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's our time here. And I'm quite sure all of us here has really enjoyed this sharing here, and I hope that you in the audience have thoroughly enjoyed this as well. So stay tuned, as there's another interesting panel session coming right up after this. And if you enjoyed this, follow Sandbox on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thank you and take care.
Thank you to our panel discussion speakers and Mr. Choong for moderating the discussion. May we now invite Mr. Choong, Ms. Lee, Mr. Teo, Mr. Chua to remain at their seats as Ms. Tan, the director of the Sandbox, Ngee Ann Poly, presents the tokens of appreciation to our invited speakers. Ms. Tan, please. May we invite the panel for a group photo.